Day for a boat ride. Catherine said, though, my name is Mary Rose. I am the docent or tour guide on this trip today. So you guys going to hear my voice up here, telling us all about Chicago, about the art we have in the city, about the history we have in the city, and of course, most especially, about the architecture, which, see around us here, right, on the left side here, above the sun a little bit, all these beautiful buildings kind of built in layers of architecture. Now, we have a lot of time today to get into all of that further. So before we dive into that, I kind of want to get to know all of you guys a little better. I have a couple questions tonight. First question, is it anyone's first time in Chicago? Right there, first time in Chicago, over here, first time, welcome to say thanks for being here today. Great day for a boat ride. I also kind of like to see where people are visiting Chicago from today. If you want to share where you're visiting from, raise your hand and call on you, see where you're visiting from. No one wants to share? That's okay, yeah, right here. Arizona. Welcome, Arizona. Thanks for being here today. So you're like, this is freezing. You're like, I'm so cold right now. That's great. Love to hear it. Right here? California. Welcome from California. Right here, sir? Michigan. Welcome from Michigan. Basically a neighbor. Basically a local. Midwesterners. Anyone else feel called to share? Yeah. San Diego. Also from California. Neighbors. Crazy. Yeah, right here, sir? Kansas City. Missouri or Kansas side? Kansas City, Missouri. Gotta ask, the difference there is. Well, thanks for being here today. Thanks for being here. I'm gonna guess everyone else is from Erie, Pennsylvania. Maybe, probably not. It doesn't matter where you're visiting from or why you're here. Maybe the best thing is we all get to be here in Chicago on this boat together, right? Yeah. Aww. All right, it's kind of the tail end of the summer season. Anyone have anything they're celebrating on board the boat? Anniversaries, birthdays? Right here, birthday? How old? 11. Do you want the boat to sing happy birthday to you? I'll let you think about it. Maybe we can say a birthday. I think we got some yeses over there. 11's birthday. 11 is such a great age. Do you like being 11 so far? Yeah, maybe. Okay. Any other celebrations on board? 300, 400 years ago in the city's history. When all this here would have been like swampland, grassland, prairie, river, and lake. At this time it was still inhabited. We are on indigenous land. The Potawatomi, the Ojibwe, the Algonquin tribes, they all lived here, right? For generations they all lived here. So a cool thing is to have a lot of markers still of our indigenous history. For instance, the name of the state we're in, Illinois, comes from the Illini tribe. Pretty cool. The name of the lake we're on, Lake Michigan. The word Michigan translates to big lake. It's fitting. It's a great lake. It's a very big lake. And then even the name of the city we're in, the word Chicago, comes from an indigenous Potawatomi word that loosely translates to stinky onion. Yeah, guys, you're in the city of the stinky onion. How does it make you feel? Good? Bad? Stinky, maybe? It's not the best name ever. It kind of is our name. It was called the Stinky Onion because kind of on the banks of the river here, there's very pungent, oniony grasses growing back in the day and kind of an oniony odor to it. Hence the place of the Stinky Onion. The smell is gone now though, but the name did stick. And you know what? Chicago's a great name. I like to call it Chicago. Alright, so that's the indigenous history of Chicago. Now we're turning here. You're gonna notice this beautiful grassy hill with that sign on it right there that says "Who found Chicago?" It's a great leading question. The person we call the founder of Chicago was a man named Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable. And du Sable, he was a Haitian Creole man. He had been living in New Orleans. For whatever reason, he left that city behind, came out the river, the Mississippi River today. He came to this land, and he loved it, was mesmerized by it, amazed by it. He married an indigenous woman, and he built the very first trading post in Chicago, the first permanent. Now, post du Sable city exploded, all right? In the 1800s, Chicago was the fastest growing city in the history of the world to that point. We were huge back in the day. And a lot of that was due to the river, actually. The river area here, it connects us almost to everything. The lake is to the left side over here. The lake, we get access to the St. Lawrence Seaway. On the river, we can go down the north-south branch, all the way to the Mississippi River, to the Gulf of Mexico. The river can get us almost everywhere. People are coming on it in droves. We're Sable Drive, originally Du Sable again. And it would properly enmeshed and immersed in the city. So, let's kind of get ready to see it all, because it's going to have a great view coming up ahead of us. So what's going to happen here is I will go past the bridge here. I will quiet my phone off for just 1 second. And I'm going to encourage you guys to just take a minute here, right? Cameras ready, eyes ready. And just take a minute to let the city overwhelm you. See what your eye is drawn to in the skyline view. See what you like about Chicago, maybe what you don't like. And together, we're going to pull forward past this bridge and let the curtain of the city rise before us. In 5, 4, 3, 2.
Pasan los barcos ahora. Chicago, Illinois. Ay, que el sol está ahí abajo.
Ooh, right? Is that what your brain is saying, taking all this in? Maybe when the sun goes away a little bit. Well, guys, welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the river. What a great river it is, too. All right, without further ado, let's get to our very first building today. Start the trio strong here. On the left side there, the building goes 3 towers of blue glass with wavy edges to it. Now, the name of this building is the St. Regis. It was built in the year 2020. It is 5 years old. The St. Regis is Chicago's 3rd tallest building, and it has a world record. It is the tallest building in the world, designed by a woman architect. That's pretty cool, right? Give her trivia even. Yeah, now the architect's, how tall is it? It's about like 90 stories tall. Now the architect's her name is Jeannie Gang. Jeannie Gang grew up here in the Chicagoland area. She loves to give back to her hometown. Gives us frankly astounding building here. The wavy edges here are so one of a kind in architecture. Now Jeannie Gang has a MacArthur Genius Grant. She's an amazing architect. She's freaking from the Chicagoland area. This is her hometown. She gives us this phenomenal, one of a kind building. You'll ask me a lot if you can go inside that building. You actually can. Part of it's a hotel, you can stay there. Part of it's restaurants and bars. Most of those condos and apartments. Fun fact, I actually was at an apartment there last weekend. Like a millionaire being in that building. It's so gorgeous. But so world class, so one of a kind. We love Jeannie Gang. We love her work here. The cool thing about Chicago too is because Jeannie Gang is from Illinois, from this area, she gave us a lot back to Chicago. She gave us, of course, the St. Regis. But keep looking on the left side. Kind of like behind this glass triangle building there, you're gonna see another wavy edge tower. That second one is also from Jeannie Gang. It's called Aqua Tower. It was built in the year 2009. It's a similar idea, right? Part of it's apartments, part's a hotel, part are restaurants and bars. What I kind of love is the symmetry right here. The 2 wavy edges, the 2 Jeannie Gang right by each other. And also before the St. Regis was the tallest and most woman architect, Aqua Tower held that record. Jeannie Gang beat her own record. Great job doing it too. She's amazing. It's a nice start, right? Some nice, newer, more contemporary architecture. But who would about like some a little bit older architecture? Yeah, I like the older architecture personally. So we're gonna peek forward here, past the next version, a lot of the older kind of like 1920s era in Chicago architecture. My favorite one of the whole bunch we're gonna see next. So look at the right side. You're gonna see kind of up ahead of us here, this like building this kind of fun dome on top of it. See it past the bridge, you can't see it now. The name of the building is the Intercontinental Hotel. It was built in the year 1923. It's pretty old. Now the style of architecture that's in is a style known as Moorish Revival style architecture. Kind of like a North African, like Middle Eastern influence to it. Now in the early 20s, you had these revival styles in Chicago. The reason for that, in the early 20s, they wanted Chicago to feel like a modern European metropolis, like a Paris in the prairie. Well, it's from that era, like that one, have a very overt European-looking influence to them. Now, personally, though, my favorite thing about that building, which you see there on the right again, is that little ring around the dome. The ring around that dome was intended to be a blimp or zeppelin docking station. Yeah. In the 1920s, they were like, blimps are gonna be the future. And then the Hindenburg blew up, and they were like, blimps are not the future. But the ring is still there. Kind of cool. It harkens back to that heyday of blimp travel. Like, imagine for a second that Chicago was a blimp city. What a world that would be, you know? What a world. All right, keep pulling forward today, though. It's a great night on the river. It's pretty crowded out here. We're gonna look at the right side now. At this gorgeous white terracotta tile building there with a clock tower on it. Now, the name of that building is the Wrigley Building. The Wrigley Building. Its first tower was built in 1921. Its second tower added in 1924. It's just around 100 years old. Now, this style of architecture, Spanish Revival style architecture. In fact, the Wrigley Building was actually modeled after a cathedral in Seville, Spain. modeled after an existing building. Again, that same idea. Chicago as the modern European metropolis, the Paris and the prairie. Now, my favorite thing about this building is the clock tower. I have this little watch, or this little analog watch with a boat. So because of that clock tower, I actually relearned how to read analog clocks. I'll prove it too. Okay, it's like a minute to 6, like 5:59. Was I right? Was I right? Thank you, everyone. There is hope for Gen Z yet. We can read clocks. I got a bridge right here. Michigan Avenue, DuSable, to DuSable again. Actually, on this bridge, you go all the way to the right past the bridge where that tower is. You find a little bust of DuSable's head. And where that bust of his head is actually the site of his first trading post, the original, founded with Chicago, just over there to the right. Pretty awesome. Let's go back to the DuSable Bridge, though. I want to see next is Chicago's second tallest building. This tall cascading glass tower that's called the Trump International Hotel and Tower, built in the year 2009. Now, kind of a cool thing about this building is the building's architect. So it was built by a man named Adrian Smith. In 2009, Adrian Smith designs this tower. In 2010, Adrian Smith designs the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the current tallest building in the world. This is kind of like a mini practice Burj Khalifa. For scale, too, the Burj Khalifa is 2 times the size of that tower. I mean, it's incredibly, incredibly tall, right? And you know what? Tom Cruise still climbed the whole thing. What can't Tom Cruise do, you know? Other than, like, cut his hair or stay in an airplane. But this is a really important style of architecture. The style of this building is a style of architecture known as contextualist architecture. The way this style works, it uses the context of its surroundings to inform its design. Context, contextualism. A lot of stuff today, get to more of what that means later. But for now, I want to look at the left. Brown stone one there with a dome on top of it, called the Jewelers Building, built in the early 20s, kind of Beaux Arts, Art Nouveau style architecture. There's a really famous rumor that Al Capone ran a speakeasy inside the dome of the Jewelers Building. Great rumor, not true, unfortunately. Great rumor, not true. The truth is, there was a club up there called the Stratosphere Club, and when that club was open, Capone was in prison. Hard to a nightclub in Chicago when you're in prison in San Francisco, you know? You could try, probably would have succeeded that one. Pop to the right now, but these amazing classic Chicago corncob towers here. I mean, these are so cool. Now, these two buildings are known collectively as Marina City. They're called Marina City. Kind of a strange name. They're not called a building or a tower, they're called a city. Why? Well, they were built in the 1960s by an architect named Bertrand Goldberg. And Goldberg wasn't just an architect, he was also a social scientist. And what he was trying to do with Marina City was put everything a person could need to live in one complex. The idea of it is a city inside of a building. Okay, what's in here? What do we need to live? Inside these towers, you would find your very unique pie-shaped apartment above your valet-parked car, above restaurants and stores, a gym, a hotel, a bowling alley, a music venue. You have all of those amenities, right? Underneath it here, you even have yacht parking. I don't know about you guys, one thing I have to live is space for my yacht to go, right? Actually, fun fact, I own all those yachts. Because I'm a yacht tycoon, what can I say? Show of hands, though. Who would live in there? Who live in the building? Who do it? Yeah, why not? So cool, so Chicago. All right, Sunday night in the city, everyone's out and about, living the Riverwalk area, going to the wineries, the bars, the restaurants. Give the idea, though, of layers of architecture is we have the Riverwalk area there, and the buildings all above it. So look at the left side. With that stone base and tall glass height to it is a building called 77 West Wacker. Built in the 90s in a style called neoclassical architecture. Now, the idea of neoclassical is the combination of new and old styles in one. So if you look at it, it looks kind of like an elongated Roman temple, right? Columns on the outside and temple-like roof. Now, personally, I like to imagine the Pope was in Chicago in the 90s, that he saw this building and he went, I'm gonna move to Rome one day. And he did it, guys. He moved to Rome. You guys have heard, right, the Pope is from Chicago? Yeah, we'll never let you forget that. Right side now past the bridge is a gorgeous building called the Reed Murdoch, built in the year 1914. Now, in 1914, there was no set style of architecture used in Chicago, which means there is no name for the style of this building. It is not Prairie style. It is not the first Chicago style. What this kind of tells us is that architecture styles are often secondary to buildings themselves. When you're building, all the building really has to be is functional. All it has to do is work. This one here is 111 years old. It is still here, and it looks this amazing still. I look at it sometimes, and I'm like, what is your skincare routine, Diva? You look amazing. What is it? I have to know. It looks so good. All right, let's do a little bridge talk now. Oh, this is kind of fun, guys. Look at this. We got a train in that bridge right there. See what way about us with train box, the train conductors. Does anybody want to guess how many bridges are on the river? Let's hit the wave. Yeah, there we go. That's for us. That's awesome. Thank you. I love that. Does anybody want to guess how many bridges are on the river? 25. Great guess. The answer is 37. And every single bridge is a moving bridge. Every bridge has the ability to split down the middle and then raise and lower its arms up and down in the air as need be. The bridges, they don't raise very often, unfortunately, because the traffic is hard to raise them, but they can and sometimes do raise. Actually, Chicago has the second most moving bridges in the world after Amsterdam. But in Amsterdam, they're called Chicago bridges. We're pretty cool. We came first. Right side now, here past the bridge is a giant behemoth of a building known as Merchandise Mart. Built in the year 1930, this is the first example today of a style known as Art Deco architecture. Art Deco is a really important American style. So how would you recognize an Art Deco building? We see three things in all Art Deco. We see windows that create vertical racing stripes to draw your eye to the top height of the building. We see exteriors of limestone and setbacks up top. Windows, limestone, setbacks. Now, Art Deco was the first American national movement of architecture, the first style seen across the whole country. Chicago has it, New York has it, LA has it, Wisconsin, Oklahoma, Texas, Florida, it's all over the country. But weirdly, it was really short-lived. Get into why that was and what happened to it a little bit later. For now, we're pulling forward to the area today called Wolf Point. Now, Wolf Point is often referred to as the trophy case of Chicago. Look, another train over there for us. How gorgeous is that? Now, Wolf Point is where the three branches of the river meet today. We came from the main branch, we'll head next to the right to the north branch, and then we'll head down south to South Branch, hitting all three branches. It's also home to many of Chicago's newest buildings. So, these two on the right here, these two glass ones, are both very new, about 2 years old, built in January 23. The one kind of behind us there, apartment complex called Wolf Point East. This one ahead of us is an office building. It is currently home to the company Salesforce. People know what Salesforce is? You guys got a lot of nice, like at offices. You guys work like at offices, I assume. The thing about me is I work on a boat, right? I have no idea what Salesforce does. Everyone's always like, well, Mary Rose, it's just a CRM. And I'm always like, okay, and where's the poop deck? All different skills in life, guys. All different skills. We're around this bend now, though, and we're going to move from the newest building on the Chicago River to the oldest. The one kind of dead ahead of us here, you can see it, the short, squat brick one right there. I'm going to just bend on the left and around the bend here. The name of that building is Fulton House. It's back to the year 1898. Now today, Fulton House is full of apartments and condos. However, its original function was for meat packaging refrigeration. It was designed to build to be one giant refrigerator. Kind of weird. How do you refrigerate things in the 1890s? The walls of that building were 4 feet thick, and they were stuffed full of a plaster made of cork and horsehair. Horsehair insulation, which again, kind of weird. Now, it stayed that way from the 1890s to the 1970s, and some of the packaging left the building, and they began to convert it into apartments. But the first thing they had to do, let the building thaw out, which took 6 months. But then it thawed, and now you could live there. I'll be honest with you guys, I know myself, I could never live there. I think if I lived there, a cow would haunt me. Right, come over tonight, and the cow would be like, moo. It's just not for me. On the right, though, you might notice, is that a raised bridge? Yes, it is. They raised it just for you today.
Yeah, that's Adam.
I'm lying. It's always raised. This bridge is called the Carroll Avenue Bridge. It used to be used like every bridge in the river, raising and lowering its arm, and then they blocked off the roadway to the roadway anymore. They can't use it, and they can't get rid of it. It's historically protected. What's the solution? Leaving it raised in the air for us to look at and wonder about for all time. All right, quickly to the left now. These beautiful things here on the left side are called the river cottages, postmodern architecture, built in the 80s, Harry Weiss architect. There's 4 individual cottages there. 3 of them have their original owners from the 80s. One of those sold around 10 years ago for $2.25 million. Which I could never afford. But I have this dream. One day I'll save my money and one of those cottages back there, I'll be one of those balconies, watch the boats go by, I'll wave at the boats and I'll go, ah, that used to be me. All that dream for all the goal setting in life, right? Yeah. All right, we are now in the North Branch River. This is North Branch today. I'm gonna pull farther forward to the first of our 3 U-turns. As we turn, I take a little break for the mic. I'm gonna walk around. I'll answer any questions you guys might have so far. It's a great chance. Go to the bar, refill your drinks, go to the bathroom, and then back on the mic in just a minute. Chicago. What's the river called? Chicago. It's kind of a weird river though. It's one of the only rivers in the world that flows away from its mouth, which is a weird thing, right? Rivers flow into their mouths usually. This one used to, and it doesn't anymore. So what happened? Well, in the 1890s, Chicago was a big meat packaging town, a big industrial town, and like a lot of industrial towns, we dumped our industrial waste into the water supply, into the river. Now, the mouth of the river was Lake Michigan, and Lake Michigan was the largest source of fresh drinking water in the area. So waste is going into the river, it's flowing into the lake, it's contaminating our drinking water. That's not good. You can't have that going on. What they actually had to do is they physically reversed the flow of the river, change the way that it flowed. So now we no longer flow that way into Lake Michigan. We actually flow the opposite way into the Mississippi River, now sending all of our trash to St. Louis, which is our bad. Sorry, St. Louis. That's on us. We're gonna head down south today now. We got on the right here. Kind of a fun, like V triangular base-shaped building. Now the name of that building is 150 North Riverside, and the concrete base is only 39 feet across. I call it the Brandy Melville building because it's so skinny. Now we don't think about it all the time, but buildings actually do sway in the wind. Wind is more powerful than buildings. So this one, oh, another train too. This one though, the base so small and the top so tall and it's swaying in the wind, physics tells us the building should be falling over. But it isn't. It's totally fine. So how is it not falling over? The answer lies in really, really good engineering. Really good engineering. There's an engineering principle they use in that building called inertial slosh dampers. Which is a crazy term, right? Like, what on earth is an inertial slosh damper? Basically what it means is, in the top floor of this building, there's 150,000 gallons of water. And as the wind is pushing the building in one direction, the water in those gallons sloshes the other way. So the wind goes one way, the water goes the other way. The wind goes one way, the water goes the other way. And the effect that it has is stabilizing the building, keeping it upright, keeping it from falling and crushing an unsuspecting tour group. It's all right, guys. Today we are safe from falling buildings. Thank an engineer for that one. Thanks, engineers. Who's anyone any engineers on board? That's okay too. All right, we'll keep moving along down south. We'll head to the left side now, past the bridge here. A gorgeous glass building here with a steel pylon to the base of it. Now, the name of this building is the Bank of America building, built in the year 2017. It's a pretty new building. And this is, again, more contextualist architecture. The idea of that style is context of the surroundings. The context here is the sky. So the idea of it is that it should go sky, window, sky, seamlessly into one. It's not like a perfect mirrored effect right there. It's a pretty good mirrored effect. Kind of like a good rule of thumb for this style for contextualism. If a building is made of glass and built in the last 40 years, it's contextualist. like this one and a lot more we'll see today. Oh, but now we're entering a little Art Deco canyon right here. The left and the right are both Art Deco. We'll do on the left later. I love it. We'll get to it later. I want to start though this canyon though on the right side past the bridge here, with a gorgeous building called 2 North Riverside Plaza. Built in the 1920s, formerly home to the Chicago Daily News. It is, of course, it's Art Deco, has the windows and limestone and setbacks. Now this style, again, so important in U.S. history, but also really, really short-lived. So what happens to Art Deco architecture? Well, this style started in the late 1920s, right? And think about history. The 30s brought the Great Depression. The 40s brought World War II. So we get this style of architecture, and then for the next 2 decades, we were too broke and too busy to care about architecture. As a matter of fact, post-Art Deco, there were almost no new office buildings built in the US for 30 years. This, and almost nothing new until the 1960s. So, the 60s roll around, we want to have some fun, want to shake things up architecturally. What are we built to have fun? Little black boxes. The epitome of fun, right? This building here is called Gateway 1. That one there is called Gateway 2. Examples of a style known as black box modernism, also called Miesian architecture, or just modernism in general. And it came from an architect named Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Mies van der Rohe actually is my favorite architect, and he's the father of this style, which is again known as the modernist movement. But I also bet looking at these, probably thinking, yeah, and they're boring. Which is fair, you know? Think what you want to think. I encourage you to look kind of in this way. If you had seen no new styles of architecture in 30 years, and the only thing that you knew before these was that over-the-top ornateness of the Art Deco and Victorian movements, I mean, these would have been the coolest things in the world. They're sleek, and they're simple, and they're modern. In Miesian architecture, Mies believed the beauty of a building lied in the materials alone. He said all you need for beauty is steel and glass. And that's it. That's all they are, right? They're so crazy in the 70s with their bell-bottoms and disco and Donna Summer. Oh, Donna Summer. Anyway, so here it's called Gateway 3. This was the international style of architecture. The idea of that style is that you could go anywhere in the world, anywhere international, and see buildings just like that one. Like, take a minute here. Picture the skyline of your hometown. You probably have one of those buildings. My hometown in Indiana, it's like the only building in the skyline. Woo, Indiana! All right, we keep going now. 70s to the 80s. Still on the right, taller glass one there, curve in it. 80s building called Gateway 4, done in contextualist style architecture. The curve in the building mimics the curve we see in the river, and the windows even have a wavy glass effect meant to mimic the waves we see in the water itself. Now, with this building and with this style, we are fully caught up. It has been 40 years of continuous contextual, 40 years of one style in Chicago. If you ask me, frankly, that's too long for one style, but nobody asked me. So we got all these mass buildings now. All right, left side past the bridge, a little black box right here. There's a fun little mural on the side of it, though. The mural on the side of the building here is a map of the river. You can see all 3 branches on it. And that fun square, red square on the map is us. It's a "you are here" map, like one you'd see at a mall. So if that's us, where's the hot topic?